has not come without a battle. It all started earlier this year when the parties in the coalition made known their intention to challenge the ruling PDP. Our next report looks at the hurdles the party had to contend with before now.
The All Progressive Congress, APC, is a Nigerian political party that was formed on February the 6th this year in anticipation for the 2015 elections. After a failed attempt to form an opposition alliance during the 2011 general elections, the opposition parties, the Action Congress of Nigeria, All Nigeria People's Party, and the Congress for Progressive Change, and factions of the All Progressive Grand Alliance and the Democratic People's Party all came together to put another coalition that will give the People's Democratic Party a good challenge at the polls. On June the 7th this year, the merger committee of the All Progressive Congress, that's the APC, formally applied to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for the registration of the new party. The spokesman for the Joint Merger Committee, Tom Ikimi, confirmed that those who signed the documents that accompanied the application were the three chairmen and secretaries of the ACN, the CPC, and the All Nigeria People's Party, the ANPP.
For now, only three parties have done conventions: ACN, ANPP, and CPC, and these are the ones authorized to have those documents signed.
It hasn't been a smooth journey towards the registration of the APC. Not long into their negotiations, intrigues and political interests began to creep in. Indications of a clash of interest among members of the opposition coalition emerged when the parties, after settling for a name, logo, a flag, manifesto and constitution, battled to resolve a disagreement over the modality for establishing an interim leadership for the new party. In March 2013, it was reported that two other associations, namely African People's Congress and All Patriotic Citizens, both applied for INEC's registration, adopting APC as an acronym as well. Members of the APC interpreted the finding as a political distraction and a cheap game plan by the PDP to stop the successful coalition of the opposition parties ahead of the 2015 general elections in the country.
Well, joining us on the News at 10 to speak on this registration of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, is a political scientist and a lecturer with the Covenant University, Professor Kaide Shoramekun. Good to have you join us this evening.
Thank you very much.
If we look at it, looking at the background leading up to this particular registration by INEC, what do you make of it?
Well, if you look at the background, the run-up was very, very thorny. Thorny to the extent that a number of obstacles were put in the path of the APC. And there was what I would call pessimism in one that probably at the end of the day that APC will not really see the light of the day. This is more so in the light of some funny acronyms which came up and which tried to, in fact, own the acronym APC. So to that extent, one would say that for the APC today, for the novel APC today, it's a good development that they've managed to more or less overcome the initial hurdles which threatened to more or less still birth the new party.
Well, anyway, you know, some have argued that we haven't seen any clear-cut mission statement or manifesto of the APC other than to unseat the ruling PDP.
Well, I want to differ from you slightly on that, and that is that the job of any political party is in fact to seek power and more or less to attempt to unseat the status quo. And I think without trying to speak for the party, that by the by, they will come up with something in terms of what they think they have for this country. And I'm hoping that they will put in their brains together, call in their cerebral minds, and in the process begin to tell Nigerians what they have for them. And I do hope that they will be able to more or less offer something different or something refreshing from the current PDP, because that is their job. If I may quote Shakespeare here, I said, to be thus is nothing, but to be competently thus. In other words, having a party is something, but the point is, what then do you do with it? How do you then proceed in terms of trying to fashion out a new existence for Nigeria? That is, what are your promises? What are the hopes? And what do you really hope to do? More so at the level of policy. And I do hope that in the course of time, we will see what the APC has to offer this country.
Well, as we wait for that time, for some watchers of our political scene, they say this is the very first time we're getting to see a true merger of political parties in the country, that other than that, we've always seen coalitions. How true can that be?
Well, to some extent, that is true, because if you look at Nigerian history, especially the political dimension, what you find over time, I mean, in the past, has been more or less what we call mergers, Opga, and the rest of that kind of crowd. But probably for the first time, we are seeing a fusion, not an alliance now, but a new political party. And what it portends is that we are more or less trying to move along the lines of other social formations, in which over time you have what you call a two-party system. And that is what we're about to, what Nigeria is about to get itself into now, a two-party system. But again, that does not really portend anything, because I don't want to mention any names, but you discover that within the PDP, there are angels and demons. Within the emergent APC, there are also angels and demons.
So they have to be very careful to see.
Yes,
but does this also affect the composition of this, what you want to call ideology of such political parties? Otherwise, some say we're likely to have similar
I don't want to get into the slippery terrain of ideology, because ideology is probably, in the Nigerian context, they are simply small screens through which you just deceive the people. The point is that in contemporary Nigeria, there are a number of elemental problems. We are talking basically about a country that refuses to feed itself. I just read in one of the newspapers that Nigeria is the second largest importer of rice in the world, and that we are shelling out so much in that kind of direction, whereas we have the ecological trappings to in fact grow rice here. So I mean, we're talking, so ideology, let's leave ideology aside, please. Let's talk about how the political class, or better still, politicians, can in fact meet the aspirations of the people.
Well, Professor Kaide Sharamekun, we would like to thank you for finding time to join us this evening.